Hey yo, I hope y'all are doing all right. It is the King Hitman here, and we are going to cover the best support memories in the game. I have them in a tier list, I have them ranked. I'm sure you guys have already glimpsed at the screen and considered having a meltdown. I get it, I understand. Not everybody's gonna have their perfect tier list. However, it is important to say that I'm recording this video on right before April Fools. And there are support memories on this tier. It's hard enough to find a tier list for the support memories, so I appreciate the person who made this. I'll probably tweet this out, or maybe I'll put a link to this one specifically so that the person who made this could get their credit. Like, they thank you, you are the only person who had this possible, like, this tier list, right? So with that being said, there are certain support memories. It seems as though it's more of the ones on JP. It's more favoring those ones, but there are a couple of them that haven't been added in, such as this Goku GT Goku support memory. Well, both of them for that matter. The GT Goku support memories. I think that's that one, and then these two, like these ones from post 7-year anniversary. So the Kakarot support memory, the Realm of Gods one, and the Vegeta's Pride one. Those are the only ones that aren't on this list. And listen, I'm gonna say off rip. I guess I should. This one is probably gonna be in my A tier. Like, nah, I'd say B tier because it's not uber useful. Like, it's good for Realm of Gods. And actually, you know what? No. I'd put this one in A because in Super Battle Road, which a lot of Realm of God units are good for SBR, it would be really helpful. And Realm of God, they're so powerful. That type of buff for 2 turns can really speed up the course of, or change for that matter, the course of a fight. The Goku, listen, I don't need to talk about it. The Kakarot one from the Broly movie, and then this one right here, both in Z tier, and the Vegeta's Pride one I'd put in C, because corroded body and mind, really. Now let's get in depth on my whole tier list. Now the garbage one is the Videl's support memory. She gives Majin Buu Saga category allies 2 key for 2 turns. That is not doing nothing for me. The Power support memory is too specific. Not only does it have a turn restriction on it, it has an HP of 88% or more restriction on it for you to seal the enemy. It's like, you look at it on paper. I guess I'm gonna be doing back and forth a lot. You look at it on paper and you're like, oh, this is great. This is great for a Super Battle Road. And then the thing about SBR is, like, the odds of you walking into turn 3 at basically 90% HP consistently is not likely. It's not likely. And that's around when you're wrapping up the fight anyway. So, like, it would be nice if you could make sure they couldn't do extra damage to you before the next fight. But it doesn't work out exactly how you think it is. I wouldn't call it a dependable support memory. The Kid Goku one is just a base support memory. His and the Frieza's, like, they're not bad. They're just very simple. Like, super class allies for 1 turn, 15% attack if there's an extreme class enemy, and then Frieza's the inverse. So it's not like it's a poor support. It's just it's surface level. It's surface level at best. Then we have the Trunks and Mai one. The Trunks and Mai. Listen, bro. I I really I don't understand why this one costs 120% or 120 film. Like, I feel like 100 is already, like, okay, I guess it's fine, but at 100 is a bit much. So all allies get attack and defense 10% for 2 turns when there are 2 or more time travelers on the team. Bro, that's not that OP. That wasn't OP enough for you to. One thing that I did factor into this tier list and how I built it is, how much does it cost? Because film is annoying. These ones that are like 120, bro, if you're trying to do Super Battle Road or anything like that, or like a legendary event, those events that cost 0 stamina, and you use the support memory and then die in the event, you have to go out your way to go get more film, because you can't just run that event over and over without, like, you won't get film from it, right? So you'll have to go into quest stage, you'll have to go into Baba shop, you'd have to go into like other Dokkan events or just stamina stages to recoup the extra film so you can try again with that support memory. And when these ones are overpriced. I really think the film system is stupid. It should be at around 4 or 500 film. I don't understand why they felt like capping it at 200 film. Very weird. It's pointless, actually. It literally serves no, like, what does Akatsuki get out of capping it out like that? Very weird. Very well weird. But yeah, that one's also overpriced. Then we have the Bond of Master and Disciple ones. It's fine. It's just not great. Like, I don't feel like oh my gosh, I'm running a Bond of Master Disciple team. I need that support man. Like, it's crucial for this team, or it makes this team look so much better. I don't feel that way. It is a nice support memory though. These are not based on the animations, by the way. I don't at all like. I didn't factor in how good the animations are. I know a lot of people do care about how good the moments are, and I love that. Like for you guys to enjoy that. This is a properly priced one. Bond of Master, attack and defense 10%, 2 turns regardless. And in Super Battle Road, that is really good. However, one thing about these 2 turn ones is you do have to factor red zone useless. Well, not useless because red zone does start off difficult, but it's like I'd say the God event not that helpful. Long of like legendary events is pointless. You feel me? So you got to be careful with these 2 turn ones. I don't like being over dependent on them, especially if they're category based, because it's only going to be good for specifically. I'd say that Bond of Master and Disciple stage, but it also depends on how big the category is. But Bond is one of the like mid-level sized categories. Next up, the next tier we have, or no, not next tier, the GT Goku one. So this GT Kid Goku one that I was talking about earlier, oh, it is on here. I didn't even notice. It does reduce all enemies' attack and defense by 5% for 2 turns from the start of battle if there's a Goku family enemy, and then further reduces all enemies' attack and defense by 5% for the rest of the fight, regardless. It's fine. It's definitely overpriced. I do think like 170 film for a memory like this is a bit much. And I think the two best film sections, just like based on how many options they have and how much value is in, like on average, I'd say the two best colors are definitely the Dragon Ball Z ones and the Dragon Ball GT ones, because these GT ones are very uh versatile, I guess. Like there are a lot of different, they all do so specific things, right? They're very different. Like this Bolo one, we're gonna get to that one specifically. But yeah, I wouldn't call this one OP. However, you definitely feel a difference. 10% debuff to the enemy that's permanent. If it was like that, it would be nice, but 5% is not 170 film worth. I don't even care. Even when there's a Goku family enemy, like I would not pay that much for that. It's not Super Battle Road, that's rarely saving your life, right? You're still gonna need to use an item. And then the Krillin one, when the system first came out, this was one of my favorite. It's probably my favorite support memory, because in the God event, it would let me build up my attack and defense, and all that type of stuff, trigger active skills and stuff like that. Wow, taking a noticeable drop in damage when an Icarus was active on top of that. So this guy was really good for that. But I think he's aged out, and the way the game's landscape has changed, it's not as important, and he's pretty hefty on a price. Like I think he's 120 film, so I don't want to overrate him. And then this one is just because it's so simple. Like it's actually a really, that's why I put it all the way to the left. Not that the order really matters, but this one specifically all the way to the left, because it does give all allies 2 ki for 2 turns. That is it's just a blanket support memory. So I don't want to undersell that one. It's just, it's not bad. It's not great, but it's definitely not mid. It's not. The siblings bond support memory from the Tournament of Power. That one is good for the siblings bond team, and it recovers 18% HP. I have found that when HP is below 50%, the 18% isn't like life saving unless you're around 40%. If you're at like 10, 20, 30% HP, you don't really feel the HP recovery the way you think you do. You'd still end up using a snake or a aider or whatever. But it's a nice support memory. It is. I find it useful whenever I feel like I need the help with it. But to each their own, right? Ginyu support memory is nice for those that don't know what Ginyu does. I'm tripping. Ginyu, let me make sure I say it exactly. Extreme class allies attack and defense 10% for 2 turns when there's a super class enemy. That's extreme. Like you can use this in multiple Super Battle Road stages. Like there are a lot of, Super Battle Road stages are thematic. So you can use, I don't know, Inhuman Deeds team versus a whole bunch of superclass type units, or like a Planet Namek Saga team versus a whole bunch of superclass. Like Planet Namek Saga is very extreme dependent, especially with the addition of AGL Ginyu. Even though he didn't, like, he doesn't need that support memory, right? But it just is very it's a very good support memory for a lot of different villain type like centric teams. Trunks is fine. Future Trunks, his support memory is not something to go nuts over, but I do find that Vegeta family allies, attack and defense 10%. There are so many teams that are Vegeta family centric. Gifted Warriors, the way you can run the new Insmaj Vegeta's team, the way you can run a normal GT Vegeta team, the way you can run a Super Saiyan team, a Pure Saiyan team. There are so many variations to the Vegeta Gifted Warrior. There are so many different ways you can do it. So it was kind of worthy rival. I'm telling you, and it's only 100. Like this is one I ain't gonna lie, because it's such a big category, I would not have blamed them if they made this one 120. Because Vegeta, all the Vegetas share the exact same team, like it's by nature, right? So I would understand them overpricing this one. Next up, we have honestly, part of me wants to move it up one, but I get where I'm gonna move it left. How about that? I'm gonna move it all the way left. Next up, we have the Kid Gohan one. Kid Gohan carrying Piccolo. This is a support memory I actually use pretty often. Goku family attack, and it's the inverse of Trunks. It's literally Goku and then Trunks, or Gohan and then Trunks. And then after that one, we have the Icarus. Icarus, so it's nice to have that extra bit of attack and defense when you're desperate. It's below attack and defense 10% when below 70% HP. It's nice to have it. It's not elite. It is one of the cheapest, like for its value, it's very cheap yet very helpful. You can usually get an idea of where you're gonna use it. It's not exactly accurate, but obviously, like you sometimes you'll get it on turn 3, sometimes you'll get it on turn 5. But something about Super Battle Road is you won't get it on turn 1. I love when I know I won't, like, not that I never want a support memory on turn 1. That's stupid logic, especially for Super Battle Road, but sometimes I do need it on turn 2, turn 3. So you do like to have a gauge of stuff like that. Now next up in the A tier, we have the I love Oolong support memory because it helps me farm so much faster. It's that simple. Like Oolong support memory is understated. It's so simple, it's so free, it's so cheap. And one thing about the Dragon Ball support memories is that there's only 2 of them. So you can use 2 of Icarus or 2 of Oolongs, you know, the 140 film, and then farm up a bit more and you'll be right back at 70. So you'll be able to use 3 within the span of a couple minutes. I really like that. It helps me a lot. All right, it does. Now the Namek Saga one, the reason I put Goku's a tier below Frieza's is because it's super class. If you look at the Namek team, it's really interesting. As many options as you could argue, they could do variations of you. They could do a Krillin in the armor by himself. They could do a Gohan in the armor by himself. They could do a base form Goku, sort of like what Exchange Vegeta and Goku are, except that's an extreme class unit. But my point is that team, the Namek team, is very villain centric. It's extremely villain heavy. So the only units this is like really helping out, I'd say, are LR, AGL, Krillin, and Gohan, and LR into Nameku. But when you're running the Planet Namek Saga the way it wants to be run right now, especially under a 200%er, you're running full power Frieza, you're running third form Frieza, you're running like that type exchange Vegeta and Goku, like you're running Ginyu Force units, that type of stuff, right? So Frieza's is definitely a bit more valuable than Goku's. I think everybody understands why. Bulma's is one of the most clutch support memories in the game. This is what I like about Bulma's yellow support memory. It will either activate on the 4th turn for sure. So that means if you feel like you're not taking damage in, say, I don't know, what in the red zone, you're definitely gonna take damage. But let's say you don't feel like you're getting below the 40% HP. That 4th turn, when you're at like 55%, you're triggering that 35%. That is 35% HP is not short, bro. Don't hold that. So you know exactly when you're triggering it. Or if you feel like I took a shot where I didn't expect to take a shot. Now I'm below 40%. She's putting you right back up there. Like it's even if you're at 10% HP, going from 10 to 45 is a massive jump, right? It's not no 18% buff like the siblings bond one. This one is not to be understated. I do think it's a bit overpriced. I mean, I get it, but 170 is a bit OD. I would have gave this one 120. I really, if you were to ask me, but some of them are more like it's situational. This one is definitely a situational one, but you can use it in every single mode, like in Super Battle Road, in the God event, in long events. You can use it wherever. So once this triggers on like the fourth turn, you're in the fourth turn of the Legendary Vegeta event. You should already have taken a super by then, right? So she'll heal back up that. If you're at 80% HP, now you're back at full health. You don't have to worry about using an item for another turn or so. It is helpful. It is helpful. And then we have the GT. What I love about the Nail and Dende one, or the damn it, the Piccolo Dende one, is that might have been racist. That was that a racist comment saying Nail? What that might have been racist. I'm sorry. Piccolo and Dende one is that it's so perfect for physical GT. It's literally made for GT Goku. I feel like Vegeta should have gotten his own counterpart, but like I said, the most valuable colors, like film colors, are blue and yellow. So you can argue, you don't want to give it too many options. This one is 120. It's fairly priced, I will say that. It randomly changes key spheres of a certain type to physical, except physical. GT heroes get attack and defense 20% for one turn, starting from the third turn of battle. The reason it's so crazy is because the 7-year LR, who is the best unit in the game, Gogeta, he's physical, right? So you're either this is in an ideal world, this is what the rotation would be. It would be GT Kid Goku, like his physical one, and then it will be the 7-year LR, and then whoever the last unit would be. Pick one, right? Like figure it out. Not that GT physical GT. Let me see this. I suppose it's not really physical heavy outside those two. Am I forgetting somebody? I don't think I am. Yeah, I'm not. I'm not at all. So yeah, it's just those two, but that's such a massive buff for one turn to those two. So if you're in Super Battle Road, bro, that's going bonkers. You're in the red zone, like that's going crazy. So and it gives you so much HP back because both of those units love having physical orbs grabbed while being on the board. Some units benefit a lot more from that than others, right? Next up, the next tier. Finally, I think y'all understand where I'm coming from with each of these. Vegeta's Super Saiyan will get attack and defense 10% for the entire battle, or Super Saiyan 2 will get buffed for 2 turns. So you're giving 2 different categories of legitimate buff in Super Battle Road. That Super Saiyan 2 one is valuable. Super Saiyan is just, it's such a big category, bro. Like, for obvious reasons. I don't have to explain this one. Oh, I didn't even, I forgot for a moment that he's not only giving Super Saiyan 2 the 2-turn buff, it's 20% attack and defense instead of the 10% he'd give to Super Saiyan 1. So keep that in mind. In SBR, it's like, yo, that's going crazy if you build the team a certain way, right? It's Super Saiyan, like Pure Saiyan run, Goku family run, whatever, bro. That can, if that's buffing 4 or 5 of your 7 units, that's going crazy, man. Either one of these categories, 4 or 5 of your 7 units, that's going insane. Next up, we have Frieza's. I explained Frieza's, like I said, the dynamic team is extremely villain-centric, so for obvious reasons. And then the Bolo one, it's the same as Oolong, except it costs more and it's a bit more powerful. So, you're getting one run of this, like a day or whatever. And in the Z tier, I already said, there's missing support memories that would definitely be in the Z tier. The Goku family one is not even obtainable yet on either version because you got to keep farming up these Super Battle Road runs, but they're dropping them individually. I will say I don't like the fact that they did that. I'd rather a support memory had just been directly correlated to each corresponding stage, or if you're really that paranoid about it, make it every 2 stages. There's no reason we need 10 full stages, and this is gonna end up being the best support memory in the game when it's fully farmed up. At least with the landscape right now, I would say this is insane. This is insane. So I get where they're coming from with the paranoia of not making this easily obtainable, but it's gonna be so long before we're able to use it constantly. And then the Zeno support memory, bro, on that Universe Survival Saga team, you got, let me just pull it up in case, yeah, I know y'all haven't. I know y'all haven't. In case y'all forgot how crazy this category still is, you got Hit and Goku, you got Tech Hit, AGL Vegeta just got his EZA, got Full Power Jiren if you want to use them, Goku and Frieza, MUI. LR Evolution Blue, the LR Universe 7 is actually a really good LR that we don't talk about at all. At all. You got Roshi on here. If you're depending on how you build a team, that's actually really useful. It's so many little things. It's so Tech Kaon Caulifla. Bro, don't play that support memory. It's the best support memory in Dokkan right now. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. I loved making it for you. I'm just chatting, man. I like these moments. I like talking Dokkan. Hitman is out. Consider checking out the channel if you want more. And like the video if you want me to make more lists like this. Appreciate it. Hitman's off this.